A sign reading, "I am proud of my gay son," is displayed in New York, 1974. Survivors of the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp are shown in 1945. A view of Rome in 1870, captured just on the eve of it becoming the modern capital of the unified Kingdom of Italy. "Bombing for peace is like having sex for virginity" was a famous slogan adopted by hippies protesting the Vietnam War during the 1960s. Superheroes are pictured washing windows at a children's hospital in the US in the 2000s. A group school photo taken in Austria in 1899 shows 10-year-old Adolf Hitler in the center of the back row. Desperate people attempting to board a plane during the evacuation of American troops from South Vietnam, 1975. An indigenous girl pictured in the 1960s, captioned as "The Last of the Mohicans." A crawling toy from the USA, dated 1871. The design suggests that if a child misbehaves, this toy might crawl towards them at night. A machine for dispensing whiskey is shown in the USA during the 1960s. In 2016, American student Otto Warmbier was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor in North Korea for stealing a propaganda poster. He was returned to the US a year later in a coma with severe brain damage and died shortly after. Shockingly, North Korea issued a bill of $2 million for his alleged medical care. Louise Bundy, the mother of serial killer Ted Bundy, speaks to him on the phone just minutes before his execution, telling him, "You will always be my precious son," proving that a mother is always a mother. In 1956 Alabama, African American children stand at the fence looking into a playground designated for whites only. In 1987, USSR, a man is shown in court convicted of social parasitism, unemployment, sentenced to 1.5 years of corrective labor for not working for a year. This photo shows price controls in Nazi Germany in 1935, with a sign stating that a store was closed by police for excessively high prices, and the owner was sent to Dachau for re-education. An M3 submachine gun, featuring a curved barrel designed for shooting around corners, is shown in the USA in 1953. Marsha Pinkelfield, the 6-month-old winner of the Most Beautiful Child of America contest in 1927. An unemployed man in Hungary, 1939, resorted to selling advertising space on his own bald head to a sports magazine. The mummy of Ramses II, the pharaoh who ruled ancient Egypt from 1279 to 1213 BC. This photo illustrates the church's dual role in the Third Reich. While some priests saved Jews and resisted, others viewed Hitler as a defender of Christian values against Bolshevism. Croatian women show off their traditional tattoos, which feature pagan patterns worn by Balkan Slavs as a means to avoid forced conversion to Islam. The post-apocalyptic wedding photo documents students protesting environmental pollution in the USSR in 1989. Annette Kellerman is pictured modeling a women's swimsuit in 1907, an act for which she would later be arrested on charges of indecency. At the peak of his popularity, Charlie Chaplin participated in a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest in San Francisco and came in 20th place. A photograph capturing the unique perspective of having the Statue of Liberty Standing in One's Backyard, USA, 1930. A crowd of white, civilized Americans is pictured mocking two participants of the Black Civil Rights Movement in 1965. In the United Kingdom in 1939, guidelines for war included evacuating children, covering windows, and killing cats. Within a week of the war declaration, over 750,000 pets were killed because owners feared there would be no food to feed them. Fortified with poisoned bamboo stakes, this is the border between Vietnam and Cambodia in 1972. Moroccan Police Commissioner Mustafa Tebet appears at his 1993 trial, accused of raping hundreds of women in what became the country's worst police corruption scandal. A Prayer for Peace involves 100,000 monks praying in Thailand. Benito Mussolini is arrested in Switzerland in 1903 at age 20 for evading service in the Italian army. At that time, the future fascist was a socialist who loved playing the violin. Members of the Ku Klux Klan gathered at a fair in Colorado, 1926. A photograph showing Soviet border guards in Brest just moments before their execution during World War II in 1941. While the USSR actively fought against religion and alcohol, this photo captures the head of state in 1970. A giant sea devil caught by Captain Khan on August 26, 1933. Refugees in Korea navigate their way across a bridge damaged by bombing in 1950. In 2010, Randy Guajaro bought an 1878 photograph for $2 that showed Billy the Kid and his gang. It turned out to be one of two confirmed photos and is valued at $5 million. British women working in munitions factories were nicknamed canaries because TNT exposure turned their skin yellow and caused severe liver damage, yet they produced 80% of the UK's UI weaponry. President Bill Clinton misses a football pass during a game at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in the USA, 1993. Rudolf Höss, the man who designed Auschwitz, stands near the camp's crematorium, awaiting his hanging. Democratically elected President Salvador Allende is seen just seconds before his death during a military coup at the presidential palace in Chile, 1973. A photograph of King George VI of Great Britain, showing him as a very serious man in 1938. French Catholic clergy in Dijon are shown burning an effigy of Santa Claus in front of children in 1951 as a protest against the pagan aspects of Christmas. This photograph shows the trenches of World War I, a century later. The FBI created a photo montage in 1945 to visualize how Hitler might look if he attempted to escape by changing his appearance. Vincenzo Peruggia stole the Mona Lisa in 1911 by simply walking into the unguarded Louvre, removing the painting from its frame, and walking out. The Republic of South Africa holds the world record for the highest number of rapes, with statistics suggesting every fourth man is a rapist. Consequently, a woman born there is more likely to be sexually assaulted than to learn how to read. A small black girl is pictured in a so-called human zoo in Brussels, Belgium in 1958, serving as a grim reminder of the colonialism and racism of that era. The most dangerous notebook in the world, which belonged to Marie Curie and still emits radiation, 1899. Hitler Youth forces Jewish people to wash the streets in Vienna, 1938. The 1987 attack on Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi occurred during an official visit to Sri Lanka, when a soldier in the honor guard struck him with a rifle butt. Individuals saved by Oskar Schindler, along with their children, gather at his grave in the Catholic cemetery on Mount Zion in Jerusalem, 1993. California hunter Seth Kinman was pictured sitting in a chair made from a grizzly bear that he had gifted to President Lincoln. Johnny Depp is pictured following his arrest in 1994, which occurred after he destroyed a hotel room during an alleged attempt to kill a cockroach. This image illustrates an old method for determining human weight, showing a woman from the Tarahumara tribe being weighed in Mexico in 1892. Winston Churchill posing for a photograph while sitting in Hitler's chair at the entrance to the Führer bunker. The mummified remains of a monarch and his daughter, who died in 1080, are preserved in Mont Saint-Michel Castle in Normandy, France. This image shows maintenance work on Unit 1 of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in the USSR during the 1980s. While these frames once symbolized progress, they now serve as a haunting reminder of the tragedy that followed. Daughters reunite with their father in England after the war in 1940. A Dallas police officer holds the rifle that, according to the investigation, was used to kill John Kennedy in 1963. A wrestler known as Exotic is pictured with his minor father in the United Kingdom, 1973. A photograph from the 2000s showing the elaborate arrangement of a gypsy baron's grave. The burnt wreckage of the Apollo 1 command module. Tragically, 3 astronauts, Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, perished inside this cabin. Emotions run high at the funeral of the beloved leader Kim Jong-il, 2011. David Hensley is pictured collecting donations in 1948 to fund a new hospital for polio victims. A photo from 1893 shows a hysterical patient suffering from what used to be called madness of the womb. Contestants participate in the Miss Perfect Posture beauty contest in 1956. A duo from Dagestan, photographed in 1936, showing the husband riding a donkey while his wife carries the entire load from the market. An elderly woman inspecting Vicky Dugan's daring dress at a film award banquet in Los Angeles, 1957. 66 years later, a soldier's granddaughter found this photo and was horrified to discover that her grandfather was a fascist who served in a detachment involved in mass killings. In 1977, a young Joe Biden stated that integrating black students would turn schools into racial jungles. This image features Dr. Katie Booman, the computer scientist responsible for the very first image of a black hole. She created the algorithm that transformed telescopic data into the historic photograph we see today. A girl discovered a photograph in an old family album 66 years after the start of World War II. Through it, she learned that her kind grandfather had been a Nazi soldier involved in mass killings. The Hunter brothers are pictured inspecting their aircraft engine midair during their record-breaking 23-day non-stop flight in 1930. A 1940 photograph shows young American women admiring stockings, which were a very scarce and difficult commodity to obtain at the time. Special cribs designed to protect infants from gas attacks are shown in England, 1942. German vehicles encounter the difficult conditions of Russian roads in the USSR, 1941. During the surrender of the Japanese naval base Kurihara on Honshu in 1945, a Japanese man hands his sword to an American with the hilt under his right arm and the sharp blade facing forward, a severe violation of sword etiquette and a deep insult in Japanese culture, though the American is unaware and unbothered. Quarantine warehouses housing people infected with the Spanish flu, 1918. A copper mask created for a war participant in 1918, during an era when plastic surgery was not yet known. Police officers in Plymouth, Massachusetts salute their service dog, Kaiser, as he is taken to the veterinary clinic to be euthanized. A depiction of white slaves on Barbados plantations, where light-skinned slaves were sold more cheaply than dark-skinned ones because they were considered less resilient and obedient. A significant portion of modern medical knowledge regarding hypothermia is derived from horrific experiments performed on humans in Nazi Germany. A little boy watches as Warsaw Pact troops invade his country, Czechoslovakia, in August 1968. The damaged wall of the Empire State Building following the crash of a B-25 bomber in 1945. During the Boston blizzard of 1978 in the USA, 73 people died, and over 4,000 were injured during the relentless three-day storm. Captured just 13 hours before the eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980, this image precedes the disaster that claimed 57 lives, including that of volcanologist David Johnston. During mass riots in autumn 2006, demonstrators managed to start a T-34-85 tank displayed in the city center and attempted to break through police positions with it. The 38th U.S. President Gerald Ford, falling from an airplane ramp in Vienna, Austria in 1975. A woman who wants to buy a refrigerator but cannot, as sales were closed for 5 years. Russia, 1990. A 1988 anti-Trump protest held by the Nation of Islam in front of Trump Tower, featuring signs with the slogan, "Trump is a chump." Bank robber Pretty Boy Floyd, a public favorite in 1930s America. He is described as someone who destroyed mortgage records during heists to free people from their debts. To ensure identification in the event of injury or death from bombing raids, a tattoo artist in Britain in 1942 is shown applying a young lady's social security number to one leg and her address to the other. A photograph from 1902 captures a female driver behind the wheel. A young woman writes a thank you note to her boyfriend in the Navy for the skull of a Japanese soldier that he sent her in 1944. The witch's throne was a torture instrument designed for women suspected of witchcraft, consisting of a chair fitted with spikes and a heated seat. In 1693, Marina Vukanek was subjected to this device for 11 days. She eventually lost her mind and died without ever confessing to any guilt. The moments immediately preceding the execution by hanging of Nazi war criminals on February 2, 1946. A shocking image from the USA in 1959 shows a small child holding a racist sign, serving as a stark reminder of how hate can be taught from a young age. This photograph depicts the 1st German Sex Intelligence Division during World War II, whose members were selected specifically for their physical appearance. A music rehearsal taking place inside a Soviet correctional prison in 1978.
Did this make you happy or maybe a little mad? Let me know your thoughts below. Stay tuned for the next exciting part. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Bye.